If you don't know, now you know. It's the Ask Rayceen Show.
Welcome to the Ask Rayceen Show. For our 10th and final season, we are available online and worldwide. I'm your announcer, Krylios. On behalf of Team Rayceen Productions, I thank all of our sponsors, including DC Homers, Bite the Fruit, and Whitman Walker Health. To learn more about our sponsors, guests, Team Rayceen Productions, and more, please use the links in this video's description. It is now time to introduce your host, the High Priestess of Love, the Queen of the Shameless Plug, the Empress of Pride, the Goddess of DC, the iconic, the legendary, Rayceen Pendarvis!
Bam! No, I'm not the Empress of Pride. I'm Nikki, Rayceen's scheduler. Unfortunately, Rayceen isn't able to be here, but stay tuned for a fantastic program. Back to you, Krylios.
Up first is music by Aaron Myers. Aaron recently released the Pride album. He has appeared on stage with Rayceen Pendarvis at several events over the years, including once performing on the Ask Rayceen Show on the only February edition in 2013.
Welcome to the 10th season of the Ask Rayceen Show. Now, my name is Aaron Myers, and of course, I'm very glad to do anything that I can possibly to help and to support and to uplift and to celebrate Rayceen Pendarvis. And I'm so happy that I can say that I've been a part of this process, I think, more than once. I think they had me down back in 2013, but we've had many more interactions when it comes to this particular program. And I want to encourage you to support. Go back and see some of the other episodes and really support what this great artist and this muse has done for our community. So I got some music coming up for you all, but enjoy the show today. And again, congrats to you, Rayceen, on 10 fantastic seasons.
Go out and tell our stories. Let it echo far and wide. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. How justice was our battle and how justice was denied. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And say to those who blame us for the ways we chose to fight, sometimes there are battles that are more than black or white. And I could not put down my sword when justice was my right. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. Go out and tell our story to our daughters and our sons. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And tell them in our struggle we were not the only ones. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. sword could be a sermon or the power of the pen. Teach everyone to lift their voice, and then, my brothers, when let justice be demanded by 10 million righteous men, make them hear you. When they hear you, I'll be near you again. In love again, even if for an evening, can we just fall head over heels with no regard to an ending, just to hold you in my arms, forgetting there is a world beyond us, just to walk hand in hand, planning for the adventures upon us. Let's just fall. Can we just fall in love again? Forgetting there is a world beyond us, just to walk hand in hand, planning for the adventures upon us. But let's just fall. Can we just fall in love again? Ooh.
Yes, and as this is your final season, Rayceen, this song here is my parting words to you, and some words that were said by a mutual friend of ours. We remember her, Carolyn Colbert. We say her name. And as you prepare to do your next chapter, which will be even bigger and brighter than this chapter you're closing out now, I want you to please take care of you for me. and I'll take care of me for you. I know it's overwhelming thinking of the things that we're going through together right now. I know that I am always thinking of the problems and the things I didn't accomplish somehow. The need appears too great for me to help all that I can. And I can maybe too late. So please take care of you for me. I'll take care of me for you. Hold on, just you wait and see. Together love will bring us through. I listen to the news, turn it off again, knowing there's nothing else I can do. I'm looking for the answers, but only find the problems, and it seems there is no one to turn to. The need appears too great for me to help all that I can, and I can maybe too late. So please take care of you for me, and I'll take care of me for you. Hold on, just you wait and see. Together love will bring us through. The most I can give is my love. My love is all that I can give. And if you lend me love, I know together we can live. So please take care of you for me. I'll take care of me for you. Hold on, just you wait and see. Together love will bring us through. Please take care of you for me, and I'll take care of me for you. Hold on, just you wait and see. Together love will bring us through. Love you. Love you dearly. Please take care of you for me. Well, that is a wrap. Again, my name is Aaron Myers. You can go to my website, Aaron2.me, Aaron, AARON2.me. Check out all my work there, of course. But most of all, I want you to give a shout out, first of all, to Team Rayceen. She has a fantastic team around her who supports her and supports everything that she's doing. But to the goddess herself and the godmother of us all here in Washington, D.C., and really throughout, she has children throughout this entire country. We're appreciative of you. In 10 years, you did it. You've done it. As someone said in your in the first episode, perhaps, you did it your way, and you're doing it your way. So I'm so happy to be a part of this. Thank you for what you've done. And happy 10th anniversary. On to your next chapter, which I know will be bigger, brighter, and better than anything you've seen before.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Did you like that, Monique?
I did, yeah.
Well, you know, Aaron Myers is one of the first music acts to perform on the Ask Rayceen show all the way back in 2013.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So on behalf of Rayceen and all of us with Team Rayceen Productions, thank you, Aaron.
What's next, Krylios?
Well, we have a poem by Danielle Reed.
Hi, I'm Danielle Reed, also known as Girl Genius, and I'm thrilled to be back for the 10th and final season of the Ask Rayceen Show. As the 2015 and 2017 winner of the Ask Rayceen Slam, it is my honor to share a short piece written just for this occasion. Lucille Clifton said, "Come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and failed. My dear Rayceen, you are here. When the world called, you answered. You are both a testament and a blessing. Mother to many, a welcome harbor to all. We celebrate you. For a decade of shameless plugs and engaging the community, thank you for a space of acceptance and opportunity. We love you as loud and as proud as you have taught us to love ourselves. You are a beacon, an icon, and a queen. Thank you for living your life authentically. We celebrate you. Between the end of this journey and the beginning of the next, we offer our flowers as you take your next steps. We celebrate with you. Won't you celebrate with me? Congratulations again on 10 glorious seasons. As this chapter ends, I know the next is just beginning, and I wish you continued success.
Thanks, Danielle.
I've seen her before.
You think so?
Thanks.
Well, actually, you may recognize Danielle from her multiple wins in the annual Ask Rayceen Poetry Slam and from her participation in spoken word competitions across the region.
So what will we watch while we're eating our cake?
Good question. Up next is our first retrospective panel, focusing on the first 2 years of the Ask Rayceen show, when it started at the Burke Theater in the Naval Heritage Center and then moved to MLK Library in 2012.
Wow. That was before my time.
Girl, mine too. You want to say it?
I do want to say it.
Go ahead.
Let them eat cake.
Welcome to the first of our 5 retrospective panels, discussing the history and legacy of the Ask Rayceen show. Let's start by having the panelists introduce themselves and each sharing a memory about their first time being on the Ask Rayceen show. Let's start with Darrell Johnson.
Hey, how's everyone?
Hey,
I'm
Darren.
glad to be here today. And I have a long history with Rayceen in regards to the Ask Rayceen show. I actually kind of helped her with the original promo. I was looking at my phone to find out the dates. It was actually January 22nd, 2013, when I laid out the first promo layouts for the Ask Rayceen show. And between then and being a vendor, basically, since she was able to move in different venues, I've basically been a supportive person for Rayceen for 10 years, I guess. And then it was a blessing and a privilege to be part of this ride. It was a great experience.
Awesome. And Darren Phelps, tell me about, your first time being on the Ask Rayceen show, your favorite memory.
Yes, well, I would say one of my favorite memories is sharing a few quotes with Rayceen and asking me to go a little bit further. One of the greatest memories is that we share an affinity with being able to empower and encourage people. And she and I read a quote together that was from Sam Chan that talked about having a fresh perspective around pain. And she has always been passionate about helping those in the LGBT community in helping them navigate their pain in their life. And so I remember that conversation and conversations that happened after that.
Oh, great conversations. Dr. Imani Woody, what about you?
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. The first time I was on the Ask Rayceen show, it was in a club that had 1,000,000 steps. I don't know. Do you all remember that? I mean,
Yeah,
1,000,000 steps.
taunting you.
So once I got up the steps, it was awesome. What I loved about it is that Rayceen had the vision to ask about older adults. And in our community, we ain't never getting old. But she tackled that subject about older adults in housing in a way that hadn't been done heretofore. And I appreciate her and her willingness to continue to do that.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Dr. Imani Woody. Next, Darrell.
Hey, it is again great to be here. Congratulations, Rayceen. I think that my first time with Rayceen, I think we were on a panel with Darren and Dr. Imani, and we were talking about faith and God in the context of sexuality and spirituality and all of that. And what strikes me, not so much about that conversation, but about the transformation that Rayceen was able to do with her energy in the space of the Martin Luther King Library. It's a very large, drab room, hard to find at times, hard to manage the sound at times, but she was able to take that drab space and just with her sheer presence, sort of transform it so the entire experience was dramatically different. And so I really enjoyed watching her in her, I call it an Oprah-esque moment of really just both empowering the audience, but inviting conversation and having some people that are real talkers, like the three of us and the others that were on that panel, and still being able to manage that balance between us and her, or them. And so those are one of the things that I remember about that first episode or first time with Rayceen, when as being a part of the panel as opposed to just witnessing and being in the room with them.
Love it. Always turning a show. Always turning a show.
Always.
Turner. Turner, what about you?
Hey, folks, Turner Freeman. And in all honesty, outside of Bruz, I've never done a real panel with Rayceen. Just we've been friends for 1,000 years, and I've supported her from the door. But from the first Ask Rayceens, I was really impressed with the venue. I had never been in that theater before at the Naval Memorial, and I was thrilled that she got such a thing and that she got the panels that she did have. But I was more a supporter than panelist. She's my great friend. It's just one of them things.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks so much for that. Thanks so much for that. Next, I am going to go with Shannon Garçon.
Hi, everyone. I am Shannon Garçon, founder of the House of Garçon. Rayceen has had me, well, congratulations for a successful run on the Rayceen show. Rayceen, I've been on a couple of shows there whenever she did Ballroom. And one of my funniest moments was the first show I was on had to do about ballroom history. And we were at the club, as Dr. Woody has stated, with the long steps. I think it was off 12th Street Northwest. And we were up there, and she introduced me as the youngest, oldest girl. And I was like, what does that mean? She's like, well, you came out in DC in the 80s at Tracks, and you're still here, and you were the youngest baby there at 16, and you're here. So you're one of the old girls, but you're still one of the youngest ones. So that was one of my funny moments. And she's been my mom since I was a Pendarvis, since Avis sent me down here. So congratulations, Rayceen, on a wonderful journey.
Awesome. Awesome. Next, we'll have Rahim Briggs.
Hi, my name is Rahim Briggs. I'm the president of Project Briggs. My fondest memory of the Ask Rayceen show was when Rayceen and I got together and we were looking for a venue to do the Ask Rayceen show, and it was at the Burke Theater. I said, I know someone that works at the Burke Theater. So we got together and they provided Rayceen with the theater, and it was great. It was just wonderful. And the funny thing about Rayceen, you know, she always says when things are running behind, she'll say, time check. But she kept everybody on task. Time check. Czar, what are you doing? And you started laughing because what I loved about Rayceen, she's fun and game before, but when it's lights, camera, action, totally different. It's all business. But that's one of the big things I remember was that getting started at the Burke Theater was a wonderful experience.
Awesome. And let's run it out with Fela.
Hello, Fela Turner, and I actually am a hairstylist here in Washington, D.C., and I started working with Rayceen as she was writing all of the script for the show when it was a vision. So I actually watched Rayceen daily in between clients, writing out stuff, and I learned so much. I think the most memorable moment about this show for me and Rayceen is that I learned how learned of a person that she was, watching her put together this whole show, basically the paperwork by herself, the vision and the different subjects. So by the time I happened to be a panelist for one of the first shows, and so by the time the show was formulated, Rayceen already had a year's worth of shows to present. And it was just amazing to me to watch it. And so to see this, and it was just, I knew about it when it was just a dream, or it was just a vision, or it was just something, there was no one to support her at the time. She didn't know how it was going to happen. She just knew that she had this thing to get out, and she would position book to write it and write it and write it, and she would never discuss it with anyone. I was the only one in the salon that she would discuss it with, and she would say, "Don't tell nobody about this now, honey. This is personal. This is going to be big. It's going to be big. I'm telling you, I'm going to be doing this, and this is what's going to happen. And we're going to get this out, and people are going to learn about us, and we're going to, I'm going to be more visible." And she just, everything that she said came to pass. And so for me, Rayceen is an extremely remarkable individual, who is the biggest humanitarian that I think that I've known in all of my life. And it's just amazed me how she has so much tenacity to continue on. I've never seen Rayceen tired. I've never heard Rayceen complain. I've never heard anything negative from Rayceen at all. It's always just been about being goal-oriented, being business-minded, and being dedicated to the cause. And so for me, that has always been extremely outstanding for Rayceen.
Thanks so much, Fela. Thank you so much. Now, some of our panelists here were also panelists during the first 2 seasons of the Ask Rayceen show. Now, would anyone like to share what they remember about their discussion or the importance of having a space to address that topic? I know there's a few of you here. Go ahead, Darren Phelps.
Well, thanks. I'm going to be concise because I know the clock will run out on me, right? So briefly, as an author of The Misunderstood Journey, Rayceen and I had this deep and rich conversation about how within our community, we don't talk about domestic violence. We don't talk about the places in which we were raised. And we spend a lot of time talking about coming out, but how does our faith, how do we live, how does relationship, a holistic approach in not only in recovery, but fully living on purpose. And so I remember those conversations, but I also remember how she delicately handled the questions from people who were chiming in and saying that they wanted more of those conversations. It helped them on their path.
Awesome, awesome. What about you, Darrell?
Yeah, I agree, Darren, that Rayceen's ability to do that is really great. And so I like the idea that there was a space that was created in this kind of format. So with the Mandate and Al Sur and other places, we've had the churches, we've had lots of times to have panels and discussions. But Rayceen kind of took this with a different approach. And I think it was really critical to have the space that was open in the public that anyone can come to. And it was one of the spaces where everybody was welcome, regardless of their gender identity, sexual orientation, or any of those things, that even our families and community members and friends outside of the LGBTQIA same gender loving community were welcome to come learn and explore. And so I think that this space was very critical and has helped all the other spaces. Some were here prior to the Ask the Rayceen show, some have come along since then. But I think in the continuum of things that make a difference in our community, this is one of those linchpins that really helped further the foundation, but also build a space for people to really be free to do and bring their personality and their talent to the forefront.
Awesome, awesome. Great to hear that. And what are your thoughts on this, Dr. Imani Woody?
I want to affirm what Darren and Darrell have said, and add that it was a space that was like across. It wasn't like Darrell mentioned. We were doing this all. Topics were being dealt with across the city, but this was like a cross between being at a party and the only thing missing was the wine, right? Because we had the snacks and we had the drinks, which was also just a great part to bring people out. And I want to say for many people, it kept them from being socially isolated. It was their only space to have a place to go, that they were, no matter what your gender identity or orientation, you could come here. You could be straight, or you could be gay, or you could be whatever you wanted to be. Rayceen would welcome you with, you would be welcome with open arms by the team and by Rayceen.
And Imani, remember when you mentioned about the snacks, that Rayceen used to say she had to have the food there because people were coming and she didn't want them to think they had to go home first and eat. You got to give people something to eat so they can be a part of it. And that was a big deal. She wanted to make sure there was some, not just snacks, but food there.
Yeah.
But you had to get there early because that food went quick because it was always something good.
Thanks for that.
Absolutely.
Now, in the years since the Ask Rayceen show began, several guests have since passed away. We speak the names of two of them who appeared in the early years, Vicky Vox and Linda Pendarvis. Let's have a moment of silence for every person who participated and attended, who is now one of our ancestors.
Hey, my name is Pam Ward. I'm a vocalist and a theater performer, and I am happy to be here.
So glad to have you here. Talk to me a little bit about, your first time performing at the Ask Rayceen show. Some of those first performances. Tell me a little bit about those.
Ooh, that was a while ago, but I can recall that we were in DC at the Burke Theater. It's an amphitheater. So I know the crowds weren't like what we normally are used to now, but I think we had a pretty good crowd there, and I was performing with some friends also, as we started out with folks that, Rayceen, that we knew, really well, that we all have been performing here in the area together. So I think those are some of the things that I can remember. I want to say, did we have tracks or a live band? I can't actually recall. I know we normally perform with a live band, so I'm not sure if it was a small band or tracks at that time, because it was a little while ago.
I love that. I love that. Now tell me, do you have a funny story or like really memorable moment from the Ask Rayceen show?
I have quite a few of them. Rayceen, of course, as anybody knows, is a hoot. So I love the way Rayceen always introduces me. So I had the pleasure of auditioning for the Dreamgirls movie. Didn't make it, of course, because Jennifer Hudson got that. But I did receive a call back
Mhm.
And Rayceen always mentions that when she introduces me. So I also consider Rayceen like an auntie. So
Yes.
Rayceen, she always tells everybody, well, I birthed this child. And you know, your child is always greater than you. So my child went on to New York, and then she tells this story and tells how she birthed me.
I love it.
And
I
gave me
love it.
everything from her. So all my talent and all of that came from Rayceen.
Yeah, I love it. And everyone knows that Rayceen is a huge Dreamgirls fan.
Yes.
Dreamgirls. And not only just a fan of Dreamgirls, if you've never heard the story, not only did you, Pam, try out for the role of Baby, but actually Rayceen was an original Dream Girl, if you ask her.
Right. Exactly.
Hi, I'm Darlene Nipper, and I'm so excited to even get the chance to introduce myself. I'm a native Washingtonian, genderqueer, Black woman from DC, have known Rayceen and was on the early Rayceen show and panelists, and such a beautiful time. So I'm super glad to be here, super glad to be a native Washingtonian and have had the opportunity to be in that community of queer people of color and meet and engage with Rayceen.
Thank you. You were a panelist during the first 2 seasons of the Ask Rayceen show. Would you like to share what you remember about the discussion or, the importance of having a space to address that topic?
Oh, thanks so much for the question. First of all, the Ask Rayceen show was vanguard. It was so new. It was something that no one else in the community had thought of. And that's the thing about Rayceen. Always on the cutting edge, always like the first, always like the one that's guiding us. So when the question came, would you be on the Ask Rayceen show? I was like, yes. And what I remember, which I'm probably not remembering well because I'm older now, is that we were in the Martin Luther King Jr. library in like this big conference area, and there's so much buzz, lots of queer, Black and brown, just loving on each other. And it was so festive, but the issues that we were talking about were really important. We were talking about how to stay safe in our community. That's the one issue that I remember that was so central. Yeah. And the combination of excitement and community with addressing serious issues was what made the Rayceen show, Ask Rayceen show, so special, because it was festive and alive and vibrant and also real and serious and important.
Thank you for that. Now, Darlene, tell me, do you have a special memory, a funny moment, something really memorable from the Ask Rayceen show that you would like to share with everyone?
Well, there's a theme that I would like to share about the Ask Rayceen show. And in my opinion, it is like both the funniest and the most joyous part of the show. And it is Ask Rayceen, Rayceen entering into the space. Always dramatic, always alive. I mean, given so much life. And I remember I was, I think I may have been the mayor's liaison to the LGBTQ community at the time. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of pomp and circumstance around the mayor and all of that stuff. I remember one of the first times I was on the panel, I was like, it's like the mayor is coming in when Rayceen enters the show. Okay, all the aisle opens up and everybody is all excited. And I love the way we give life and reverence to our leaders and our community members. It's so important.
The goddess of DC, honey, the goddess of DC, baby, the high priestess of love. Don't you forget it.
Mayor has nothing on Rayceen.
Yes. Okay? No, that I believe is one of the most memorable things of the Ask Rayceen show. Thank you for highlighting that. Fabulous.
Sure.
So as Rayceen embarks on a new chapter, talk to me a little bit about, what you look forward to from Rayceen. What are your hopes for Rayceen?
Well, first of all, I'm so excited about the new chapter that Rayceen is embarking on. And I think, in all seriousness, Rayceen is an elder in our community. And I think that deserves a kind of attention. My hope for Rayceen is that Rayceen will be able to live life in whatever way that Rayceen imagines, just whatever fills all the dreams and aspirations that Rayceen has, because that's what Rayceen has done for so many of us. So I would hope that Rayceen, you get back what you have poured into Washington, D.C., all your children, all of our community. It's just been a remarkable thing to watch. And I want you to have every inch of that joy and possibility and love and power and peace back in your life as you go into your years as an elder. And of course, I honor you.
Thank you. That was beautiful. That was perfect. I had a fabulous time with you today, Darlene. Thank you so much. As we close out, I just love to go around the room and hear what the panelists would like to say about, what you're looking forward to coming from Rayceen in the future. Just a quick thought. What gets you excited? And I'll just go with what we have here. So I'll start with Darrell Johnson.
Well, I've already been watching Rayceen on Mondays and Wednesdays on Facebook with the music and the book reading. So I'm pretty sure if I had to give a guess, I'm really looking forward to more of that with her. Hopefully now that we can start being more collectively together instead of social distancing, maybe there might be a live format involved. Who knows? But I'm excited. Rayceen never going to stop working. She's like me and the rest of us here on this panel. She's probably never going to stop working. So I'm looking for a new exciting Rayceen.
Awesome. Darren Phelps.
Yeah, so I would say, again, thank you for the opportunity. And again, I celebrate Rayceen and all of you. And I would lift up two things. I'm hoping that Rayceen will continue to highlight people who are desiring to be activists and change makers, not only in our community, but moving even beyond our community. And the other thing is, and Rayceen knows this, I'm waiting for her book. And she can tell all the secrets that I've told her. Just put it all out there. As she would say, honey, put it out there.
I love it. Dr. Imani Woody.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know what Rayceen is going to do. I'm looking for, just continued wildness and wowness. That's what I'm looking for.
I love it. All righty. Darryl.
Yeah, I was thinking about this a moment ago before you asked the question, and thought that I would love to see Rayceen continue this and doing some special event type shows where there's special topics that may come quarterly or as often as she wants to do them. So it may not be every month, but some things that come back to bring her back into and draw things out in the community. And I'm also looking forward to her. I think Rayceen has the unique ability amongst all of us to bring together groups of people or individuals who do this work, and we live in this community, but we've had some issues with each other, some rifts with each other. And I think she, beyond many of the others, are able to bring us together to try to bring about some healing for in the community from that perspective. We don't talk about those parts where people stuff together anymore, don't talk to each other, whatever, but that hurts the community as a whole. So I think Rayceen could be one of those agents that helps to bring people together so we continue building what's needed in this area for our collective community. So I'm looking forward to whatever Rayceen puts their mind to, it will be done, and it will be done in the most bodacious and authentic way possible, because that is Rayceen.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Turner.
Knowing Rayceen is about 40 years, he's been the Rayceen y'all know. I can't see anything changing. Maybe more, spread more love, try to do more for more people. I just see Rayceen being the great Rayceen that he is. Love you, baby.
Fabulous. Shannon.
Well, you know what? If we try to predict it, we're going to be shocked because Rayceen is always surprising us. But I think it was Darrell that said, I think what I would like to see is like the version of Oprah, when he comes back and does these special moments. Because I think we still need them. And there's still things that need to be discussed. There's still issues that we need to address. It may not be every month, but we still want that to come back, that vehicle to have those conversations in a mature and enlightened way. So I'm hoping that this is not the end, but the beginning of the next chapter.
Yes, not Oprah. Check your local listings this fall. Yes. Let's go with Rahim Briggs.
I think for me, I envision Rayceen. Not sure if Rayceen has a YouTube channel. I'm sure she does, but I would love to see her do. I would love to see her do like a live stream platform. I see because YouTube is so big, and with YouTube you get a lot of subscribers, and if you monetize it, some of that money can be used to help out with costs or whatever like that. But you can also have super chats where people can actually donate money while you're talking. I can see Rayceen building that up to 300,000-400,000 people, in the comfort of her home or studio setup, because I watch YouTube all the time. And I would love to see Rayceen build that platform up where she has 1 million followers, and, and also doing city tours, being invited to take her show on the road. I can see it going to a different level where Rayceen is working smarter but not harder. People are paying her money to appear and to just have the resources to really take it to that next chapter. So that's what I envision. I see the show, at least in my opinion, getting bigger, but it's more like working smarter and not harder.
Well, with that being said, I do want to use this opportunity to promote the Team Rayceen YouTube channel. Go ahead, like, subscribe. We have hundreds of videos. We have full content right throughout 2020, content continuing into 2021, and so much huge things on the horizon. So tell your friends, make sure that you subscribe because there's so much happening there. And I'll close it out with Fela.
I have two things that I think I would like to see. Of course, first, all of everything that everyone said, but I think all of that is going to continue, and we also want to get better and more popular. But I think I would like to see Rayceen run for politics again. A lot of people don't know that at one time Rayceen was an ANC commissioner for her neighborhood. And I think that we need in Washington, D.C., someone like Rayceen in politics in order to even out everything, a very even person. The second thing that I would like to see is Rayceen on a billboard in Washington, D.C. I would like to see it on New York Avenue. I would like to see it on one of the capitals, East Capitol, South Capitol, or some main place where people really get to see her, because I think that the city needs to embrace Rayceen even more than what they do now.
Thank you for that. All great suggestions and all great outlooks towards the future. And who knows, maybe you've already hit the nail on the head of some things that are already in the works. You'll know, but who knows? We will see when that future does arrive. But panelists, thank you all so much for your time. And on behalf of Team Rayceen Productions, I hope we will have the opportunity to collaborate with you all in the future. Thanks so much. Monique, we have something special to show everyone.
What is that?
Watch.
I'm at-large Councilmember Robert White. On May 4th, 2021, I and 8 of my colleagues on the DC Council introduced the Rayceen Pendarvis Recognition Resolution of 2021. On this occasion of the final season of the Ask Rayceen show, on which I have been a guest and a fan for many years, we want to recognize the tireless work, the many years of contribution made to our city and to the LGBTQIA+ community by Rayceen Pendarvis. We appreciate all that you have done and continue to do. We know that even though this is the last season of the Ask Rayceen show, you will continue to be a fixture and a legend here in Washington, D.C. This resolution passed the council unanimously, and we are excited to recognize you for all of your work, for all of your legacy. Thank you.
Wow, that's really terrific.
I told you.
This is Pride Month, isn't it?
It is. On behalf of Rayceen Pendarvis and Team Rayceen Productions, we wish everyone a happy Pride and a fabulous summer. Wear sunscreen and stay hydrated, everybody.
Cheers to that.
Thanks for joining me, Monique.
You're welcome, Krylios. And see you soon, Rayceen.
Hopefully we can all be together in person soon. And Monique, I know you've been waiting to do this.
Yes.
Well, go for it.
Viewers, thank you for watching.
And happy Pride! We will be back monthly on first Wednesdays through November 2021 for the 10th and final season of the Ask Rayceen show. New episodes will premiere at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Please join us for our next date, July 7th. Until then, wear sunscreen when you go out, stay hydrated, drink responsibly, wash your hands often, and eat some cake. Thank you for watching.
I've had my share of failures, I'm not ashamed to say. I've watched the rain begin to fall. I thought that I would never last another day with no one there that I could call. But then I thought about my tribe, the ones who stood despite it all. They tore the land, and with the bloodstains in their hands, up on their shoulders I stand tall. I've got my pride, 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 I've got my pride. I miss the memories created every day. The young ones grow up far away. A sacrifice of time cannot be made in vain, not with the many nights we prayed. But then I think about my tribe, the ones who toiled both day and night. Now as they rest, I have the strength to pass the test. I will not be discouraged, I will not be discouraged.